There was some TMZ report I saw too where his daughter-in-law was yelling at him in the office, yelling at Jordan in the office. So he's just on an episode of the Kardashians, and I think this dude just hates his life right now. There's no way he doesn't.
I think that's more so what's like tarnishing the legacy for me.
Yeah.
He's very stoic. He's just a genius. You never know what he's thinking. And now you're just like, this guy's a dumbass. This guy's getting played by this 25-year-old girl. He's going to cheerleading competitions. She's running his whole life for him. And like, it just takes away from the mystique of Belichick.
Yeah.
Welcome back, MoJoe Sports, episode 25, week 13 recap coming at you. And Joe, I'm going to tell you right now, I thought this was a pretty boring week. We didn't have any of the big dogs playing, games that mattered at least. You know, Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, a lot of these big name teams seemed like they had the week off, but didn't stop us from gambling, did it?
No. And I went back and forth on Twitter with a bunch of trolls this week arguing the exact opposite. All right. A lot of good games on the board. You just have to know where to look. And if you're a casual, then, that's fine. Just say it. But this week it was for the sickos. I think this week was for the sickos. And I just got to remind you, you would kill for these games in May. You'd kill for these games in July. So next time you're watching an Alabama versus Eastern Illinois, just remember that. It doesn't matter what kind of ball you got on the TV, 56-0, that's fine. You can find some sort of entertainment in it.
Fair. Very fair. And that's what I had to tell my stepdad. He was like, "Why are they playing football on a Tuesday night?" And I was like, "This is an action, baby. This is all we got right now. And we're going to take it." And he fell in love with it, by the way. He
Oh,
loved it.
yeah. He shit
Yeah.
me?
He said, "Look at how much rain there is." Just terrible weather all around. But yeah, Joe, betting wise this week, we did what we always do, and we just sucked. All right. I went 3-3. You went 1-4, 1-5, maybe even 1-6. I don't know. We're gonna see how it shakes out. I think you're still sweating a game.
Yeah, I'm up 1-2, and UW's looking nice though. They're up 20-0. So, or I'm sorry, 1-4, which would put me at 2-4 if they can close that deal. So, really make or break here for me this week if they get this win.
Yeah, it'd be massive for you. Absolutely massive. I'm 33, 35-1. You're sitting at 25-44 right now. Yeah, that's just kind of how it's going. I'm gonna be honest. I said this last week, and it makes me feel sick to my stomach. I had a good day today, and it's so frustrating. I had a good day, but I only go 500 in the actual picks. But guess what? I've got 20 plays out on the board. All
I
right, that's
know.
what's great about college football. There's not even 20 NFL games. I've got 20 spreads I'm betting on
Yeah.
in college football Saturday. So,
Yeah.
but regardless of what the action looks like on the field, just having bets across the board, you're always going to be locked in on Saturdays.
Yep. And I think too, like you see a lot of these guys with a bunch of podcasts that we both listen to, and they have their stuff fully public on an app like Picket or Action app or something like that. And in my head, I'm like, dude, that's like opening my Komodo, and I think we need maybe a few more years under our belt for people to see. They're gonna see my Sunday bets like literally every time I go to bed on Saturday night. I don't think people realize how in the trenches we get in football, and I think I'm a little different than you because I'm just placing, probably hundreds of bets in very small quantities. Dollar here, 10 cents here. But like tonight, before I go to bed tonight, I will stay up till about 2 a.m. watching these games. And I will stay up placing maybe 70 to 100 10-cent TD parlays. Normally my number's around, I'd say 20 to 30 I get in. But tonight I have decided I am on a mission. I think I've got like $70 in my account left. I load it up every week. I lose it every week. That's just how I do it. I know it's not the right way to gamble. I know that it's not the smart way to gamble, but I don't give a fuck because gambling's for rich people to lose money. So I'm not rich, so I just put a little money in there and I have fun. That's I view it as entertainment. So tonight I am going to spend every dollar that's in the account at increments of 10 cents to 25 cents. And I hope on Wednesday when we talk, you're talking to a guy that's made 200 grand off a 15 leg parlay, and probably not, but that's the dream. So I want everybody to know that I do that every Sunday, and I'll continue to do it because I fucking love it.
What's the average payout on one of those? Like, what are the odds?
They're disgusting. I mean, it's anywhere from $10,000 to some of them get into the millions.
Off of just like quarter bets.
Yeah, 10 cents. Yeah, 25 cents, 30 cents, whatever.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. I'll
That
put
is
like a bit, a big one down. Like I'll always do a couple that are like $25 where it's like five guys to score or something like that on a Sunday. Those are like my
mhm.
real high confidence picks. They're still just like a 5% chance to hit, but I'll do those ones and those are, a couple $100, but those lottery tickets, you can't convince me because you hit one of those, you're covered for a lifetime of bet. Like the math checks out to me. I'll tell you when I'm dead.
I mean, I joined in on the fun this week for college football. I mean, I put in a 12-team parlay. I was feeling pretty good last night after UNLV's victory. And yeah, I had a great time with it too. We got to sweat it for a while. I went like 9 of 12, and that was a blast. Knew that I never had a shot. Although in the shower getting ready for work,
Yep.
I was giving the speech as if I had won it. I was like, this is what I would come on and say if I did hit this. So those thoughts. I remember um who's the rich Warren Buffett. He used to have that March Madness. He was like, if you can get a perfect
million
bracket, I'll
dollars.
give you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was given 1 billion. I'm pretty sure
Okay.
it was like a ridiculous amount. He only
Inflation.
did it for like a few years. I remember I signed up with 10, you could do 10 different I don't know, I got phone numbers from family members and I did as many as I could. And then I spent the next week before the tournament started just mapping out how I was going to spend the money. Like
Yeah.
I was so convinced. And then I'll never forget, I had Ohio State winning, and that was the first game of the tournament. I had it in all 10 of them, and they lost. And I was just dead after the first game. And I was like, back to real life, back to class at 8 a.m.
Yep. Yep. I do that every weekend. I'm like, how am I going to spend this 200 grand when I hit it? Like, what am I going to tweet out when DraftKings or FanDuel post this? Hey, look at what would you do? Would you cash this out or would you let it ride for this last leg? And I'm always, yeah. So one of these days, maybe.
Yeah, I had already thought about it too. I was like, I'm not cashing out if that
Yeah.
happens.
Yep. Yep.
Joe, what was your sharpest bet of the week? And then what was just your dumbass bet of the week that you
Yeah.
just wish you could take back?
Yeah. I think for me, the BYU bet was pretty sharp. A lot of people were on Cincinnati. I saw even a lot of tweets that were like sharp Cincinnati Joes, pros versus Joes. And it was like the Joes were on BYU, the pros were on Cincy. But for some reason, man, BYU gets that hate every week, like every single week. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like BYU is one of those teams that just gets it done. And then on the flip side of that, I think Georgia Tech was my dumbest bet of the week, and they almost kind of made it a game, but it was the same thing. I put Georgia Tech and like BYU in the same category where it's just they'll get down and then all of a sudden you good?
Yeah, I got a phone call.
Nice. We can keep that in. Uh
Yeah.
yeah, anyway, that we don't have to talk my dumb bets. There's you could take 10 of them to be honest.
Well, I had plenty too. I mean, my worst one, I would say, would probably be Florida plus 4.5. Felt good about that one. Looked up at the score. They were down like 31-0. And I said, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. Could have also gone with LSU. I loved LSU minus 21.5. And they win by 3 in a 13-10 game against Western Kentucky. So had that going for me. And then sharpest bet of the week for me, I felt like I don't know. We could go Penn State. We could go a lot of areas, but yeah, I'm not really sure. Probably UNLV, I guess, felt like the
Yeah,
sharpest because
yeah.
once that game got going, I was like, oh, we're home. Like we are not worried about this.
No, everybody was on Hawaii too.
Yeah, and I was at the game, and there were a lot of Hawaii fans in
Yep.
Allegiant. Yeah. From there, though, I did want to say I'm starting to buy in that CLV is an absolute sham because the games I did get CLV on were Rutgers plus 32.5, closes 28.5, they lose by 33. I took LSU minus 21.5, closes 24.5, they win by 3. Florida, I get plus 4.5, it closes 3.5, they get blown the fuck out. Then I took Penn State minus 9.5. It closes 7, and they blow them out. So I'm like, all right, we're rolling. And then Oklahoma, I took minus 7.5. It closed like 4.5, 5.5. And guess what? They cover. So I'm actually at the point where if the line moves towards me, I'm terrified at
Yep.
this point.
I know. I thought the same thing. The Nebraska game, I was like, oh man, I must be sharp. Like that was a good pick. And then I don't know. That 10 did scare me though, and that we can talk about it later, but yeah, anytime the line moves so sharply afterwards, I just think that there's a ton of money flowing in from people that would be able to move the line. So I think like, hey, I'm in a good spot, but maybe it's just a trap right before. It's like in the stock market, you see something go down right away. You're like, oh, good entry point, goes up for a second, and then all of a sudden just flat lines. Maybe it's the same thing. It's all psychology, I think.
Yeah. Well, I'm getting psyched out. That's what that means. Um, but let's dive into some storylines from the week of games that we just had, and we can start off with a little ref cam that we get. ACC Network, man, killing it. What they do now is they bring in on challenges, video reviews. They let you look inside the video room, and you get to hear them actually talk it out. Tell me about that.
Yeah, the command center is sick. I really like the command center. You get to hear them talk through calls, and it's a lot less formal than I thought always. Like, it's hilarious when they're talking. They kind of just talk as if it's you and I looking at a play and deciding whether or not it should be a touchdown or whether or not it should be a fumble. So I always think that's hilarious because I was under the impression that when they get under that hood and look at the video board, like there's some formal process they have to go through, but it's not. They're just dudes looking at the camera angles. And then the ref cam that they implemented, I know they've had it in previous games, but this one I really noticed it. The ref cam is sick. Like we need the ref cam on every game because it puts you directly into the action. It's like you're playing middle linebacker and you just get
You're
to
talking about
watch
the
the play.
GoPro.
Yeah, right attached to the guy's head. It's so awesome.
Yeah. I've noticed they started doing that in like even like UFC fights, stuff like that, where you just get right into the action. So it is tough though. If you ever played Madden, you try to play in that point of view.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, it does restrict you.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they're gonna
I
have
do.
eventually like video games and VR and all that type stuff. Eventually you're gonna be able to just watch a full game from that point of view and people are gonna pay a lot of money to watch that. You're gonna have a helmet cam strapped to the quarterback and you pay a
Mm,
premium subscription to play as, Patrick Mahomes for a game. And I think that's gonna be so sick.
yeah, it's gonna be dope. But Mahomes, Stafford, guys like that, they do throw no look passes. So there
Yeah.
will be times where they're turned this way and you don't even know where they're throwing.
Yep. Yep.
And going back to the command center for the video reviews, I would love if the NCAA, ACC maybe, listen up. We do a little, raffle, and whoever wins, they get to be the command center for that week. So you show up. It's like a frat house at Florida State. They're all drinking beers, watching the game, and they're like, "No, dude, ball definitely hit ground. Ball hit the
Yeah.
ground." Yeah, they're all arguing about it, and then they just send in the final word.
That'd be awesome.
We also have some coaching news possibly. It sounds like Lane Kiffin may be pulling a LeBron James. He might be having the decision.
It feels like that. Yeah, master of social media, master of hype. He is really milking this thing, and I don't know if I blame him. I've seen a lot of discourse blaming him for this. I see a lot of discourse blaming the calendar. But essentially, if he decides to leave, it sounds like he's not going to be able to coach the playoff games, or he wouldn't coach the playoff games just based on what Ole Miss has offered him. So the news kind of broke. LSU is offering him $90 million. And the crazy part, the 90 million is crazy, but we've seen coaching contracts. Signetti got about the same, so that didn't shock me as much. But what's shocking me is now they're starting to report on player like purses. So it's like, hey, you have X amount in NIL money that you have to work with. So the report was that he'll have $25 million at LSU plus the 90 million, contract, but 25 million in NIL to get recruits and pay players. So the fact that we're getting a salary cap as part of these coaching negotiations, I just find to be absolutely insane. And especially as a part of such a public coaching process. It's just nuts.
They're moving towards professional sports every
Yep.
year. It's
Yep.
getting closer and closer.
To
Good or
say it's
bad?
not, I mean, at this point, to say it's not is kind of, it's just such a tough thing for me because you still get, like, right now, which games are we watching? I mean, UW and UCLA may be in that category. They're probably in that. But these other games, we're watching the Mountain West, the Maction, like the coaches probably get that information too, but it's not the same league. So yes, it's professional to me, but at the same time, we go back to this relegation system or something because we're on different stratospheres. Watching Utah State play tonight and, San Diego State, that's a different level than 90 million and 25 million to spend on a team with LSU. So I don't know. I don't see this as sustainable, but it doesn't seem like it's going to go away anytime soon with these NIL deals. I don't know the fix.
I mean, the only fix is to basically separate the two, I think,
Yeah.
and be like, hey, if you don't have enough money to play, you don't get to play
Right.
with the big boys.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
it seems
Sad.
like.
I know. There's not really a
We-
it's the private equity thing. We were kind of talking about that too. The Big Ten's getting interest from private equity. Florida State this year, they had guys in Dubai before the season talking to, Prince Abu Solomon, I think is his name. That probably just fucked that up. I'm definitely gonna get murdered. But the the royal prince, I mean, the fact that we're talking about that, for investment into college football, that's going to just skyrocket these prices, and it's going to skyrocket any of this NIL stuff. So it's only going to further exacerbate all of the issues we're talking about.
yeah. Yeah. Um, Other story I saw from today, terrible story actually, this morning. Uh, UAB at the team breakfast had a defensive lineman that stabbed another player, sent him to the hospital.
At team
Yeah,
breakfast?
at team breakfast, he stabbed him
Jesus.
with a knife, hospitalized the kid. UAB elected to still play the game, despite this happening, but pretty wild news. Yeah, I don't know. You never know the characters that are in these rooms together and what's going on. But yeah, can you imagine that at one of our team breakfasts and like just someone just shanks someone else?
Just what the fuck's going on down there at UAB?
Yeah, it was two football players he stabbed, and now he's now in custody. Um,
I
but
would
yeah,
hope
I don't
so.
know. Maybe some anger issues. Yeah.
Wow. We have a what's the ice skating scandal where they slit the girl's ankle for the Olympics? Come on.
Like
Oh,
a
I don't
Nancy
remember the name.
Kerrigan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's one
Yeah.
of those situations.
Yeah, he definitely had money against them. That's what
He
that
wanted
means.
he wanted some PT.
Yeah. Um, Another storyline, I saw Auburn may have their savior. They have this five-star freshman quarterback. They finally unlocked him today. And first play of the game. Granted, they're playing Mercer, so let's not, overjump this, but starts off the game 75-yard touchdown run on a scramble, not a designed run. And Auburn fans are already saying they're back. They
Yeah.
think they have the next Cam Newton.
Wow. Did they dig the eagle up under the stadium? Because until that happens, they're not back.
Is that what all this bad juju is coming from?
Yeah, that's what Nick Saban said on game day, and then people kind of confirmed it. So I don't know. That feels like something that they got to address.
And then last storyline I wanted to hit on, because we're not going to hit on this game, but Pavia, he plays his final game at Vanderbilt in front of the home crowd and absolutely goes off. They demolish Kentucky, and he ends up 33 of 39, 532 yards total, and 6 total touchdowns. And the kid's just a legend. He's a college football legend. Like, his name will be remembered. He's not going to do anything professionally. I'm calling my shot now, but
Every
he's a
time,
legend.
every time we talk about him, it's like, oh, this kid's a legend, but that's the end of his story. He's not. He's
Yeah.
not going to do shit next 5 years.
I mean, he's going out there. He's doing a lot, building his brand, like hanging out with Theo Vaughn. He's shopping his mom around. They showed her on cam the entire game today. Every time I looked up at that screen, it was his mom in the crowd cheering. Um, yeah, I don't think he has a shot to win Heisman. I mean, I'm sure he does. He's not going to win it. But it is a really cool story, like overall, just watching Pavia grow and come from where he came from. JUCO guy, New Mexico State. Even the old New Mexico State coach, he was there at the game today. So, like, when Pavia walked off, like, he got to hug him and thank him. So, very cool scene.
He's gonna have a hell of a Twitch stream one day.
Yeah, I think he should just move in with Scattaboo, and they could just Twitch stream all day, the two of them. Well, Joe, that's all I got from the week. If you don't have any other storylines, I think it's time to move on to game recaps.
Yep, let's do it.
Let's do it. We'll start off with Friday night. We had the ACC showdown, Florida State, NC State. Line closed 6.5 for Florida State, and NC State comes out and beats them. So, um, time for Norvell to hit the road, right?
We've been saying it the whole season. I don't. They already said he's got it, and it feels like the performance has gotten worse since they said that. Every other coach that we've seen that happen, it kind of feels like they turn around a little bit. And you see with Wisconsin this year, as soon as they announced Fickle's, staying around, like they've turned around. So I think they've got to fire him. I don't know. I've seen the message boards this week were all Jimbo Fisher. FSU's calling for Jimbo Fisher. It's time for Jimbo to come back, come home, come back to college football. So we'll see. They want Big Jim down in Tallahassee.
I doubt it's gonna happen. He's got to be having so much fun, just not worrying about shit and just having so much money. Um, but yeah, in Norvell's shoes, if I was doing a terrible job at my job, and then my job was like, "Hey, we're definitely not going to fire you," I would be like, "Okay, I'm going to do worse. I guess I'm just going to try even less than I already am."
I know it's a win-win for him. Like, hey, you get fired, or hey, you keep coaching and you still get to make $60 million. That's a pretty good trade-off. He absolutely fleeced that contract. That was insane. That's such a big payout. He's going to get the same as James Franklin and a bunch of these other guys. And I think James Franklin, Brian Kelly, they've all won a lot more than Norvell has. So props to him. He's going to be set for life.
The first time I ever really like paid attention to Norvell, he was the OC at Arizona State, I believe. And I had a buddy that was an equipment manager for him. And I was like asking him like, how's the job going? How's it like? And he was like, it's like cool, but there's this one guy who's a fucking dick. And I was like, who is that? And it was Norvell. He was like, this guy is a cunt. I'm like, all right.
He kind of,
So
yeah. That's
ever
the
since
vibe he
then, that's
puts
what I
off a
think
little
of.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
for sure.
right.
Then Friday night, we also had a Mountain West showdown playing for the Golden Pineapple. Hawaii, they went to Vegas, the ninth island, took on UNLV. And let me tell you, the Rebels rolled. I was there in person, and we were scoring touchdowns, and Calandria was fucking dialed, dude. He had so many great passes, and yeah, place was rocking, had a great time, and we win 38-10, covered a -2.5 with ease, which, by the way, paid for my ticket as long as they covered. If they didn't cover, I was down bad. I mean, that's a ticket and another. So, yeah, I had a great time. But What do you think? Are they going to the Mountain West Championship now? Like, do you think that's a lock?
Got to handle Reno. I think can't look ahead past Reno because Reno's. I mean, they've played some pretty shit teams in San Jose State and Wyoming the last 2 weeks, but they are 2-0 in the last 2 weeks. It seems like they found a little bit of something. And as you know, going up to Reno, it's not a rockin' place, but it's a weird place to play. The stadium looks like a high school stadium to me. They have kind of the bleachers in the end. I got hit with a couple beer cans when we played there. So it's a hated rivalry, and I think it's a fun rivalry. They play for the biggest trophy in college football, the Fremont Cannon, and it's going to be a really fun game. If anything, though, I feel like this team and the last 3 years, which is it's not arguably, it is the best 3 year stretch of UNLV football history. Easily for us to say that. So I feel like these guys are motivated, and this is something that they'll want to do. They used to, I don't know if they still do it because it's a different thing now, but they used to have like a little plaque outside of the football operations building where everybody that beats Reno gets their name on a plaque etched in stone throughout UNLV history. So I don't know. It feels like this game means something still to everybody that's a part of that program. So this is going to be a big game, and it would just be a perfect ending to beat the fuck out of Reno and go to the Mountain West Championship. So I think if they win, they're in.
Well, I still have a ticket 7-1 to win the Mountain West Championship. So
Let's go.
fingers crossed. Um, let's head to Saturday after that. We'll start off with what I think was the most hyped game of the morning slate, and that was Oklahoma taking on Missouri. And this was an absolute rock fight. The game finishes 17-6. Oklahoma wins. They're going to go to the playoffs at this point. Um, and yeah, Missouri just couldn't get anything going. Defense looks great. I'll give them that.
Yeah. How do you feel about Oklahoma in the playoff? Do you think they're gonna? I mean, obviously they're gonna compete, but it feels like they're missing something, right? Every time I watch them, it just feels as if they're one play away from losing the game, kind of.
Yeah, they're missing an offense. I mean, the offense is not good. They showed Mateer's stats today on screen. He had like 8 touchdowns, 7 interceptions on the
I know.
season.
I know.
So yeah, I just don't think that you can trust them to score once they get to the playoffs. Like all the
Yeah,
teams in the playoffs can put up points.
I know. That's the big worry I would have with them too. I think they're gonna be a boring playoff team, but maybe they get a favorable matchup round one and win a game. This game
Yeah.
was fun though. It really was. I thought it was entertaining despite the score because it was kind of back and forth and it felt like Mizzou was in it the whole time. So it was a good morning game. Definitely better than the rest of the slate kind of in the morning.
I think Oklahoma does. They just try to keep that game close enough to where
Yep.
the ball just has to go their way at the end, or they just have to put one drive together. But that'll be the interesting thing in the playoffs is like if they can keep these matchups tight, then you always have a chance. After that, we had Louisville at SMU, and SMU beat the dog shit out of Louisville. And yeah, Miller Moss did not play for Louisville today, and when I checked the stats for the kid that was in, they were like 3 quarters in. He didn't even have 100 yards passing at the time.
Yeah.
So this was just bad, and SMU is rolling right
Yeah. SMU's defense has been bad too. I've watched games where they've given up 50 points. So this kind of shocked me. But I was on SMU for this one, so I felt good about that.
Very nice. Uh, then we also had Kansas at Iowa State. I said I kinda liked Kansas in this matchup. Didn't end up betting it, luckily, because by the time I looked at it, the line had already come down, which once again proves CLV, you ain't shit. So, didn't touch this one, but yeah, Iowa State came out and looked pretty dominant. They put together a complete game.
Yeah, this one did the same thing to me. I saw that line move down and I was going to bet Iowa State because in my head it was Iowa State. Clearly, Iowa State to start the season was a playoff team and I liked Iowa State. They've had some bad losses. They got really hurt in the middle of the season. I think that's to blame, honestly, for their year the way it's gone. But I was all over Iowa State and then I saw the line move so much I kind of thought, what do I not know? So I didn't touch it, but yeah, Kansas not a great showing for them today.
James Madison. James Madison trying to get that last playoff spot right now. They're in a battle. Seems like it's probably going to be them, Tulane, and North Texas. Uh, although I don't think we can sleep on the Mountain West with San Diego State. Who knows? Possibly UNLV. Zach brought that up last week. Would be wild. I don't think it's going to happen. But JMU got a run for their money today. They pulled it out late with a big touchdown run. But Washington State, I liked them plus 14, plus 14 and a half. And they were in this one till the very end, and I thought they were gonna actually just win it on the money line.
Yeah, I thought this was almost what I was going to say for my sharpest bet of the day, but it would have been your sharpest bet of the day. But I took I took Washington State every line I could get because this line moved again. It was the same thing. It was
Mhm.
13 and a half, 13. Then it moved up to 15 and a half. I caught it pregame. So I thought to myself, like, man, this might fuck me. This might not be a good game, but Washington State looked good. I kind of felt like this game would go this way. I was just worried about the travel because it is a long way. But Washington State's defense has been good all year. It's their offense that's been the struggle point, and we saw that today. They had some struggles on offense, and that's the only reason JMU won this game was because of their defense. Their offense did not pull away how they probably needed to get in the playoff. And this win will help them, but at the same time, Washington State hasn't had any crazy impressive wins. So I think JMU is still going to be shafted next week. I think Tulane's going to be the top ranked team. And I think Tulane's the favorite to get in just based on the committee because those playoff rankings that's the ultimate say right now. So wherever the committee ranks them, that's who's going to get in. And last week Tulane was the only one ranked.
Yeah, this was a terrible showing for JMU. Like, this does not help their debate at all. They needed to come out and cover the spread. And the fact that they had to get a late touchdown just to take the lead and win it, I don't think the committee is going to like this at all. After this, though, we got Syracuse Notre Dame. And this game was over before it started. I don't think Notre Dame's offense touched the field until the game was already 21-0. We got a couple of special teams touchdowns and a defensive touchdown. Yeah, they were on pace to score 100 points at one point in the game. Uh, I knew that wasn't going to happen, though, Joe, and I live bet Syracuse plus 69 and a half. I said, you're going to give me a Power 5 team, if I'll even call them that, and you're gonna give me plus 69 and a half. I took it, and it got real sweaty. I was gonna lose that bet for a little while, and they scored a late touchdown. They lose 70-7 to Notre Dame.
Yeah, Notre Dame scored 35 in the first quarter, and same thing. One of my friends texted me in the group chat, and he said, "Hey, they're getting 70 points. Like I'm taking that plus 70. That's insane."
Yeah.
And it felt like free money. And then you kept watching the game, and it just felt like Notre Dame kept scoring. I mean, 35 in the first quarter, 14 in the second. So this game was well over by the second quarter. I think they covered the total themselves by halftime of this game. So just insane by Notre Dame today. They're really making sure the committee knows they should be in.
And Jeremiah Love, he didn't get many opportunities, but he's still trying to make a Heisman case, which his odds did move up. I think he's third in Heisman odds right now, but he had 8 carries, 170 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Um, yeah, like what do you do? The backup running back, he had 2 carries, 59 yards, and a touchdown. The third string, he had 3 carries, 38 yards, and a touchdown. I mean, I think one of us could have scored today for Notre
Yeah,
Dame.
they are fucking hot right now. They're getting hot at the right time.
Yeah, I would watch out. And they're gonna probably play on the road in the first round of the playoffs. Like they're probably gonna end up at that 9 seed just because they blew 2 games early. So that's not the team that I would want to host in the first round of the playoffs.
I would not hate a Notre Dame flyer for a natty. I don't think they can do it, but anytime you have a team that's built with a crazy run game and a good defense, I never hate that to win a championship because that's what they say. Defense wins championships and also insane running backs.
I think that's a great bet. I think they could definitely win the national championship. I
Yep.
think
Yep.
right now they're probably a top 4 team in the country. If we're just throwing out records and we're just talking about, like, right now, who's playing the best, I think they gotta be in the conversation. Um, and another team that's in the conversation, obviously, is Ohio State. They played Rutgers today, and I took plus 32.5, and sure enough, Ohio State just never stopped scoring. I was covering with 6 minutes left in the game, and I'm like, "All right, Ohio State pulled all the starters, should be fine." No, they still go right down and score, and they're just a force to be reckoned with right now, and I really can't wait until we get to the conference championship and we just start seeing them play real teams. We're gonna get to see them play against Michigan. A lot of people think, "Oh, there's no reason for Ohio State to even try in this game." If you talk to an Ohio State fan, they would much rather win that game than the national championship. So I'm assuming whatever this spread is going to be, I'm probably going to be on the Buckeyes.
I agree. And they were out their top two receivers today, right? Or they at least
Yeah,
had, yeah, top two receivers. So that was kind of a big storyline coming into the game. And guess what? Doesn't fucking matter when your defense is giving up. I think the stat was they had given up. I saw it on Joel Klatt watching pregame before the UNLV, but the stat was I think they've given up 8 touchdowns in 10 games, something like that. So less than a touchdown a game. Just disgusting by their defense this year.
absurd. And they still are the national championship favorite at plus 175 right now. Indiana 5-1, then Texas A&M and Notre Dame both 8-1, with Georgia at 10-1. So that's your top 5 right now, according to Vegas.
I have a Chiefs Super Bowl, which is not feeling great, but it's a parlay with Ohio State Natty, and I caught Ohio State at plus 500, so I'm kicking myself for not just taking that straight up, but maybe the Chiefs turn around.
Yeah, never count them out. Never.
Yep. No.
Moving on to a little bit later in the slate, we got what I thought was going to be the game of the day, USC at Oregon. And Oregon comes out and wins 42-27. They cover the spread. It closed at 10.5. This is one where CLV did matter. Moved all the way from 9.5 to 10.5. Yeah, I would imagine you've got some Lincoln Riley hate. I know we were texting during the game about him, and just let it all out.
Yeah, the first thing is you never should take Lincoln Riley in this type of matchup. I'm starting to learn that. I'm starting to really sense a James Franklin-esque vibe from him in these big games. And I never thought that before, but the stats kind of back it up. In ranked games, he's just not that great, especially in a tight slot like this where so much is on the line. I don't know what it is, but they just can't get it done. The other thing is the go for two. I didn't understand that. Apparently the analytics back it up, but they're down 14, he goes for two. They don't get it. I don't I don't know. I don't love that play. It didn't matter at the end of this, but now that I know that, that makes me never want to touch USC when they're, when it's 7 or 8. Like if the line's around that, it just makes me not want to do it because it's gonna fuck you 9 out of 10 times. It feels like.
Fair. Fair. It is the analytical play. The
Oh,
nerds
sure.
out there, they love it, right? Because your chances of converting a 2-point conversion are over 50%. And they're basically saying if you're planning on scoring 2 touchdowns, you're gonna get 2 tries at this thing. So there you go. If you hit it on the
Might as
first
well
one,
want it.
now you're only down 6. When you score that next touchdown, you kick the PAT, you win the game.
Can't wait till it costs them a huge game, but it won't matter because they're never in these big games at the end anyway.
True. But Oregon looks for real, and they're banged up right now too. So that wasn't even a full team right there. They're still missing some key players on the outside. So yeah, I think Oregon's for real. And this was a big one for them because a lot of people were saying, you lose this one, you're probably going to be sitting outside the playoffs. But feels like they're for sure in at this point. Um, then we went to Arkansas at Texas, and this game was high scoring at least. I mean, it never felt that close, really. Um, Taylon Green threw some god awful interceptions. He was getting clowned. I think he even got benched for it. And then Arch Manning, he ran Philly special. He caught a touchdown, and he looked damn good catching that touchdown. Like he had to really like make a play on the ball. Um, but yeah, Texas. What can we say about them, right? Like not a playoff team, but just outside the bubble, right there.
Yep. Yeah, who cares at this point? They're not really playing for much, it feels like, anymore.
No. Um, Michigan State at Iowa. Iowa was on upset alert. I mean, they probably should have lost this game, but it was also one of those ones where as you're watching the fourth quarter, you go, "Oh, I know what's happening. I know Michigan State's about to blow this one." And sure enough, Iowa goes down. They get a 3-point win, 20-17, but they don't get anywhere close to covering. The line closed 17 and a half, which I was looking at it. I was like, that's a lot of fucking points for Iowa.
Yeah. I took Iowa live money line in the fourth quarter plus 250. Credit to me,
Dog.
but that was just exactly what Iowa does. That was the perfect like encapsulation of everything Iowa is about, and they'll drag you to the fucking mud. And when they need to come out with a victory, they will hit a last second field goal. They'll do it. So they roll on. I mean, they've had a great season. They continue to have great seasons. They'll always finish with 9, 10 wins. And I think next year I will be betting a win total because it'll probably sit around 7, 8. And you can pretty much guarantee that's going to happen.
Yeah. And I told you in terms of Michigan State, I had a buddy and he said he's so down right now that he's praying for them to hire Brian Kelly, which is something no fan of any team should ever say. And he said it out loud in real life.
I don't hate it. Who cares? They'll win they'll win a fuckload of games. They'll just never win a big game, but that's fine. At least you'll win a lot of games.
It would be something to see him go and take down Michigan. Little in-state rivalry. Yeah.
I think he'd look good in that green.
I think it is a good fit for him. It
I do
kinda
too.
is.
Yeah.
Like, LSU is not the fit. Michigan State, I could definitely see that.
He's a damn good coach. Like as much as I hate him, he wins games. They always
He's
win
a damn
games.
good CEO, alright?
Yeah.
He's not an X's and O's guy.
He's getting paid, that's for fucking sure, no matter where he goes.
Yeah,
He's got the
yeah.
best agents and lawyers in the game.
Literally, whoever his agent is, yeah, he's a
So
killer.
rich.
Yeah. Um, then we got Bill Belichick taking on Duke, first time in the rivalry game. And North Carolina, they had this game. It felt like they finally had this game. And then we get, with 2.5 minutes left, fake field goal from Duke. Uh, they pitch it back to their kicker, Todd Polino, and he just takes off the edge and almost, I don't think he scored the touchdown. I think he gets pushed out at the
Yeah.
one.
Down to
But
one. Yeah.
yeah, they get the touchdown from that, and down goes Belichick, and I'm so happy I didn't take the plus 6.5.
The kicker sweep is what did him in, and then the 2 point conversion gets him to the 7. So man, I don't know what else to say about Belichick there. It's just it's not gonna happen again next year. There's no fucking way.
How how much has he tarnished his legacy in the past 6 months?
I don't think any. I don't think any. I don't think the coaching is what's doing that. I think the other elephant in the room is what's everybody's talking about right now because it's bleeding into the football stuff. There's no other way around that. I don't think it affects his legacy though. It's just like guy was with a pretty young lady towards the end, and it cost him some ball games. I don't know. Yeah, there was some TMZ report I saw too where his daughter-in-law was yelling at him in the office or yelling at Jordan in the office. So he's just on an episode of the Kardashians, and I think this dude just hates his fucking life right now. There's no way he doesn't.
I mean, I think that's more so what's like tarnishing the legacy for me
Yeah,
is because
yeah.
5, 10 years ago, when I thought of Belichick, I was like, doesn't take shit from anyone. He's very stoic. He's just a genius. You never know what he's thinking. And now you're just like, this guy's a dumbass. This guy's getting played by this 25-year-old girl. He's going to cheerleading competitions. She's running his whole life for him. And like, it just takes away from the mystique of Belichick.
Yeah,
Like, he was that
yeah.
Darth Vader figure in the NFL. And now I'm like, oh, this guy's whipped.
I think it also is the fact that it's so public. Like a lot of guys that are that wealthy and in that echelon of society end up with the young ladies at the end, but this one's just so in the public eye, and she's forcing it to be in the public
Yeah,
eye
she
that we
wants
just
it
get
to
to
be.
watch. We get to
Yeah.
watch every fucking second of it. That's got to end soon, and the coaching, there's no fucking way that lasts. I just can't see it, but maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, you can't stop love. Can't
Yeah.
stop true love.
Undefeated. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, from there though, we got the game of the day probably, and that was Kansas State, Utah. Uh, you talked me off Avery Smith. I didn't take it, but I did take it. Couldn't help myself. And K-State definitely should have won this game. Had no business losing this game. But Utah put on just a crazy comeback. And Devin Dampier and the boys. Um, yeah, they were rolling. They get into this game, they're not rolling, and then all of a sudden they put on this comeback, and playoff hopes might still be alive, but still probably not enough.
Yeah, they have a lot of work to do and they need some other things to happen to get in the playoffs. But 98 points in this game, it was really fun. So no matter what, it was fun. And out of a day of blowouts and low scoring games to see Utah down and then to storm back like that, it was definitely the most fun watch of the day for sure. But yeah, Avery Johnson played fucking lights out. I mean, he did everything he could, but Kansas State's defense just decided to give up a 50 burger and lose this game last minute.
Yeah. Um, another crazy game a little later in the day, we got Pitt at Georgia Tech, and down goes Georgia Tech. Playoff hopes are just gone. Haynes King, he was fighting his ass off, to be honest. I mean, he was laying it all out on the line. And they never felt dead, I would say. That was the one thing. Like, Pitt was up 28-0 at one point, and you just know that this offense for Georgia Tech, that's what they do. They get in the shootouts. Their defense is terrible. And Pitt made some questionable calls. Kicker still banged up, like looking like shit. They run a fake punt at one point, and that didn't work. So like they were trying to give this game back, and Georgia Tech just falls short. And I think really the backbreaker was the 100-yard pick six that they threw when they were down in the red zone, ready to cut it to a one-score game.
Yeah, Georgia Tech was every game that's been like this where they get down big, come back. So when I was watching this game, it was like, here we go again, same thing, but just too little too late. And that interception was crazy. But yeah, their kicker for Pitt, I mean, dude had a cast on his hand and they were zooming in on his ankle. I think he rolled his ankle. is he is battling right now. The full cast on the kicker hand
Yeah.
is nuts, but respect to it because he's playing. I think they need to make it a little bit bigger because the half hand cast looks worse than if it goes like up your forearm. If it goes up your
Mm.
forearm, you get the club. Like that'd be kind of sick as a kicker to have that. But they gave him like a half cast, so like just his hand was in a cast. It just looked hilarious. It was a crazy visual to see that.
I'm gonna have to check that one out. Yeah. Um, yeah, Pitt tries to throw this game away, and like you said, it's almost like a college basketball team that just lives and dies by the three. Like you can do it, and you're fun. You're very fun to watch, but at some point, it's gonna bite you in the ass. And this was the ultimate game. You can't start that slow. Like if they got down 14-0, no problem. But once it was 28-0, you're like, all right, you have a lot of work to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And they've been there so many times. It was just a matter of time before this happened.
Yeah, if this game goes 80 minutes, right? If you
They
add
win.
20
Oh
minutes,
yeah.
they win that game every time.
Every
Yeah,
time. Even this one, they were about to win. They score that touchdown instead of throw the pick six there at the end. I
they
think they
probably
win
win.
that game. I really do. Because
Yeah.
there's 4 minutes left.
I'll tell you one thing, I'm gonna miss watching Haynes King. Haynes King
Yeah,
is electric.
he's
He's
a
very
dog.
fun to watch,
Yep.
and he's a college football legend. Like, if you're a college football guy, you've known about Haynes King for years now.
Yeah, because
Yeah. Yeah.
he's been there for
He's been there for
years.
7. But so that is like a fun wrinkle because I remember when I was growing up, college football, like the players change so much because they're always getting drafted and like you're not starting till your junior year. So I always had a hard time following the players. And now we get guys that are, yeah, they're in there for a decade and yeah, almost more consistent than the NFL sometimes. Um, After that, we got Nebraska at Penn State. We almost made this a mojo game as far as doing a wager. You say you didn't want to do a wager because then you know you're going to lose your bet. Sometimes it doesn't matter, Joe. And Happy Valley, tough place to play, especially for a kid that doesn't have much experience. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, yeah. No, this was a bad bet. This was a hope bet. But every time I have a hope bet for Nebraska, like my Raiola Heisman future and my Nebraska national champions future, those ones just never had a chance. And in this game, it was the same thing. Nebraska got run over in this game. I don't quite know where to go. They've got more wins this season again, 7 wins. You know, they might finish with 8. They
Year
got
three.
Iowa coming up, I believe. Yeah, so the year 3 worked. It's just now in college football, you need 10 to 12 wins to get into the playoff, and they're not at that level. They are better. No doubt they are better than under the Frost years because they're going to bowl games. Under Frost, they were not going to bowl games. They were getting blown out. But it just feels like these big games, they're still not quite competitive. And yes, Raiola's out, so maybe that's the answer, and that's why. But I don't think if Raiola played in this game, it would have been that different. Their defense was the problem today. So what do we do with Rule? I have said it a few times. I saw it online, but it feels like he's the Mario Cristobal of James Franklin's. He doesn't win these big games, and I don't know what the future of this program is. I every year I get my hopes up. Every year I get my hopes dashed. And maybe it's because I'm living in the past and trying to suck some of that glory that they had in the 90s just to get a little taste of it. But ever since I've joined this fraternity of Nebraska fans, it's brought me nothing but pain.
I wanted to ask, is this affect your decision about being out on Raiola? Because you kind of alluded to being okay with Raiola leaving a couple weeks ago, and you were ready for this new kid from Compton to just take over. Are you pulling back on that, or are you still in that same boat?
I'm still in the same boat. I just am changing the new kid. I don't think Latif's the answer. I don't think he's going to step in and fill those shoes, but I also don't think Raiola is the savior. So I don't know. I just feel like with that news I told you about last week where his brother decommitted from the program, the flight tracker, like something's going on, and I don't know if it's Rule leaving or Raiola leaving or what it is. Raiola might leave, which is fine to me. He might find success somewhere else. I just feel like he's not quite set up with what he needs there. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but something was off because this year was not what it was cracked up to be in my head. I thought this offense would be sick. I really did.
I think that's what's funny for me
Yeah.
to hear is that you're like in my head, but I'm like, yeah, in my head, it was always Ohio State, Oregon,
Right.
Indiana, Michigan, Indiana, yeah, like Penn State. It's just like Nebraska never crossed my mind.
But they didn't have to play any of those teams. So I thought it would maybe be an Indiana of last year's situation where you get to play kind of a cupcake schedule. You win all these games that you're supposed to win, and you only have to win 1, 2 big games a year. And you got Dana Holgerson calling the plays, like known good offensive mind, and you sling
Guru.
the ball around, it would maybe cover up some of the defensive issues you've got. It's just, it doesn't, I don't know. I don't know.
Better luck next year, Cornhuskers. Let me take you to
It's
my
that,
worst game.
yeah. Have you seen that video though, where the guy's like, "Same shit, different day"? That's how I feel watching
That's
Nebraska.
Nebraska football
Yeah,
24/7.
yeah.
Joe, my worst game was this Florida game, and we kind of already talked about it, but just Terrible pick. You never know what you're going to get with these guys because they almost beat Georgia a few weeks ago. They get smoked by Kentucky, right? So in this spot, um, Tennessee had not won in the swamp in over 10 games that they had played there. I felt like this was a real good spot, and they just came out so flat. And Tennessee's the type of team, too, that just will run up the score very quickly on you. Like they score so fast. And to start the second half, Florida starts the ball on the 2 yard line, their own two. The second drive of the second half, they start with the ball on the 1 yard line. Like, couldn't get anything going. And I'm off the Gators for the rest of the year. All right. I'll say it now, loud and proud. Gators, no more. All right. Get me out of there. And thank
You had
God
that
I didn't.
one. Oh, you go, I go.
I was just
Yeah,
gonna
no,
say,
I
thank God I didn't do game of the week. That's all I'm gonna say because it probably would have been
yeah.
Florida.
I feel like you had that one taste of the Gators covering like 3 weeks ago. I can't remember. You were right on the Gators once,
Yeah,
and you just got addicted to it. You just got addicted to the Gators. I think it might have been the coach bump, something like that. But
it
I think
was.
they're dead. They're new coach in waiting is the vibes I'm getting for them.
Yeah, I'm excited to see who it is because nobody's ever won there except for like the goats. Like Urban Meyer won there. Everybody else in the 2000s has not won there, right? Spurrier, I think, won there. And then it's like, but you look at everybody else in that era, nobody won there. The expectations are so high, even though the actual success that they've had doesn't really meet it. Like you just had a couple Hall of Fame coaches that came in and won, and now you just hope that every above average good coach can win there. And that hasn't been the case.
It's the same at Nebraska. It's the same at all these blue
Yeah.
blood schools that they've tasted that success once, and once you give that taste of success to the fan base, it's honestly UNLV basketball. It's hard to just throw them into the same category, but it's the same thing, like national championships. Like once you give a fan base a taste of that, there's no going back.
Yeah. You're like, oh, we could do this forever, right?
What the fuck?
Yeah. That shit was easy when we were paying all of our players in the 90s for UNLV basketball. You're like, why can't we win anymore?
We had like 6 convicted murderers on Florida, and we were just murdering teams.
Let's go to the Big Ten. Wisconsin upsets Illinois today, 27-10. I may have said Wisconsin, hottest team in the country ever since the Luke Fickle extension, if you want to call it. Uh, they've been awesome. Like they really have. They look like a completely different team and they're winning games. It wasn't too long ago that they got beat 42-0 against Iowa. And look at them now. They're beating ranked teams.
Yeah, Illinois too. What the hell? You can't pick Illinois every week. It's
Can't.
it's a different. You don't know who you're getting with Illinois, but not a great showing from them. And Wisconsin's found a little bit of offense finally, so it's finally fun again to watch Wisconsin a little bit. I'll put them in the sort of fun category.
Did see on Twitter that they are kind of panicking recruiting wise because they officially have no offensive line commits at this point in the season. Like they all
Wisconsin?
decommitted. Yes, Wisconsin has no offensive line incoming recruits at this moment, which is just baffling because I remember being in high
Yeah,
school and just thinking Wisconsin is offensive line U. Like this is where they
yeah,
build these guys. And yeah,
that's
they were
crazy.
getting clowned by a 3-star. There was a 3-star decommitted, and people were like, "Oh, what are you talking about? You're a 3-star. You're not even like good enough to go play at Wisconsin." And he was like, "Yeah, no, they lost to this team and that team." He's like, I think I'm good." And they show the rest of his offers, and they're all like mid majors. Blasphemy.
That's crazy. Jeez. Well, hopefully they turn around. Wisconsin, it being good is fun for college football, so I
Very
always root
much.
for Wisconsin to be good.
For sure. After that, we got one of your picks of the week, Cal at Stanford rivalry game, battle of the nerds, as I like to say. And Sag did not play his best ball, and This game got a little ugly for those Cal betters.
This game sucked, man. Every week it's Cal. We talked about it. Every time I bet Cal, they just completely shit the bed. And Stanford's defense looked like fucking Ohio State out there. You had Andrew Luck looking like the Colts owner lady just on the sideline, being commander in chief down there, calling all the shots. So he's in an ownership role, and whatever he's doing is semi working because Stanford's been semi hot the last couple weeks. So I don't know. This in my head. I was about to bet my entire 401k on Cal, and thank God I didn't. I kept it very light because I remembered, oh yeah, Cal can fucking suck in a blink of an eye, and that happened tonight. So I don't get it. I don't get it.
I'm so excited for you next year because you're going to get to bet on him again, but he's going to be at
Oh
a
yeah,
way better school and it's going to be way more fun. And I'm thinking me and you, we're probably going to load up on some Heisman tickets as well.
definitely. Yep,
Can I interest you in that?
yep.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's going to be
No,
way
put
more
him on a
fun. I'm thinking Oregon.
yeah, yeah. Oregon, Tennessee, any of these schools that sling the rock and kind of run the ball.
I mean, he's a West Coast guy. I think you fill in Dante Moore's shoes. Like Dante Moore is going to go to the NFL. He's going to be a first round draft pick. I think SAG fits in there perfectly.
Oregon does have a Hawaiian pipeline as well.
It's deep. It runs deep, brother.
Yep, yep.
And and then we got number 11 BYU, one of the hottest teams in the country. They beat Cincy. This was a what a lot of people felt like was a trap line. BYU -2.5. Honestly, I was waiting for it to get to like 3.5. I was gonna take Cincy, and sounded like that was the sharp play this week. And BYU, they don't care as long as they got their brothers and they got Joseph Smith. I mean, all they do is cover. So they're going to find themselves playing in the Big 12 championship against Texas Tech. And nice little rematch. They got blown out the first time, but it's tough to beat a team twice.
Yeah, and BYU deserves it. Every game they've been in, they've won every time people have doubted them. So I like BYU. They're a really, really fun team to watch. Their quarterback is disgusting. Looks like a fullback. If you haven't seen him, he's
Yeah.
awesome to watch. So I really like BYU, and I think they're probably going to lose to Texas Tech, just based on the first meeting. And Texas Tech is a juggernaut. We've talked about that, but I would never count BYU out of any single game because it feels like they find a way. They always have found a way in every game, aside from the Texas Tech one, really.
Right before we started the show, I was watching the end of that game. They're celebrating. RG3 got on and he said, I don't care if BYU loses to Texas Tech in the championship, they should be in the playoff. And his point basically was that the regular season like has to matter and that they're winning these games. Uh, I don't think they get in if they lose. I don't think the Big 12 is going to get two teams in unless Texas Tech gets upset. Uh, but I think they'll be the sole person there. But RG3 says the Big 12 is underrated. And I don't know. I don't know if I buy into that because if you match up these teams with some SEC Big Ten teams, I think they might get stomped.
RG3 also just says a lot of shit, so who knows what he's
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah. Would love to have him on the pod. We'll see if he's available
Yeah.
next week. We'll reach out. Um, After that, though, we're in the Chaser slate right now as we speak. We're recording this on Saturday night, so right after the games. Looks like SDSU, they beat the dog shit out of San Jose State. Not really surprised there. Um, yeah, UCLA, they're going to pull out the dub, so you are going to get your second win of the week, which will put you at 2-4. But any thoughts on the Chaser? It seems like the Chaser was good to you this week.
Chaser was very good to me. I am sweating one last bet here, so I will go 3 for 3 on money line picks or spread picks. So I had San Diego State with the points, I had Washington with the points, and then I had Utah State money line. So it's looking good there. The last thing I'm sweating is I did then take those two same points with San Diego State and Washington, but then I took the total in the Utah State game at 48.5. So I believe a touchdown would cash that here, and that would make for a profitable day. That's what the chaser slate is fucking for. You battle back, and I'm really hoping that that comes out my way. But either way, I will have made some money, and the chaser slate is the reason for that. Every other part of the day didn't go my way. The morning was hot. Just to recap the morning, Will kind of had mentioned some of these parlays we were sweating. I went into the afternoon staring down the barrel of a very hefty parlays that were very much in play that then got taken out by my boys Sag and Cal and Georgia Tech. So every week it's about the same, but usually I don't make it to the afternoon. So today was fun. I had a full day of sweats.
That's the thing. I don't normally play these like lottery tickets, but I did have fun today. Making it past the first slate, like that's electric. Yeah, you're like, hey, we're
That's all you
halfway
need.
there. Yeah. So I'll probably be back next week. The chaser slate, it's going to give you bullets to fire on your NFL anytime touchdown scorer parlays for tomorrow. So we're expecting Joe to come back with a winner because he said he's putting out 100 parlays tonight. All right. So one of them's got to hit.
What's like a couple $100 divided by 10 cents? That's a lot of fucking parlays.
That's a lot. That's more than 100.
I think
Yeah.
it'd be in the thousands.
Yeah. Well, you said 100, and then when you laid
I'm
out the
gonna, I'm
math
gonna,
right there, I
I'm
go,
gonna.
yeah, that's more.
That was before I had one money in the chaser slate. So now I got a little extra. I won't be placing all of that, but I might cap it at 100. 100 parlays to put in for every touchdown scorer in every game it's quite a bit of work. So I'm gonna have to see how long that takes me. I got to get some sort of sleep.
Well, then you got to worry about duplicates. You're like, did I already do this one? You're on your 95th
The dude,
parlay, and you're like, shit, I've already done this. You're like, wait, I've got this guy in
the
93 of my 95 parlays. If he doesn't score, I'm screwed.
Yep. The problem is, oh no, Utah State just threw a pick. There's 3 minutes left. Fresno State really needs to go get some points on the
They
board here,
need a
please.
touchdown. Yeah.
They do. I know that's actually probably better than they probably need the ball. Fucking Utah State. But yeah, the duplicates is actually a good move. That's a veteran move because you do the double. So you do the 10 cents and then you do it twice. Because if it gets to the cash out, you make it to the final game, you can cash one of them out for a guaranteed big profit and then let the other one ride risk free in a way. So the duplicate's the way. But if you're duplicating 200, that's not not as easy. So I'm gonna end up duplicating one and then still not have a way to cash out one and have to make some tough decisions. But I'll probably take the money. You guys can call me a pussy, but if I'm sitting there with an option to cash out 20 grand or I make 50 on the game, I'm probably taking the 20 and you guys can kiss my ass.
Fair. We will. If that happens, we'll kiss your ass. Well, Joe, thanks for coming. Thanks for hanging out. Week 13 recap in the books. We will see you again Thursday morning for the Week 14 preview. And we're running out of time. It's going to be the last week regular season. And then from there, we're diving into big games only. But I'm excited. There's still lots of money to be made. So we appreciate you. And we will see you again on episode 26.
Adios.